What's up, guys? So I just wanted to give an update on my diamond grind that I'm going for. I'm trying to get every single character diamond before I take them all to master, or get anyone to master, really. That grind is so fucking long, I don't even really kind of care. But, so I got Luke now. I just got JP done. So I have Luke, I have Nan. Luke, sorry, Jamie is 4 stars. I'll get him, no problem. Nan, Kim, Shuri, JP, no Lily, Marissa, DJ, Cammy, Ryu, E Honda. Do not have Chun-Li, but will do it. Ken, Guile, Blanca, Geef, don't have Dolls. So I have gotten so many characters to Diamond, and honestly, the Street Fighter 6 ranked system is probably the biggest fucking joke in anything that I've seen. So you get so many points for winning. So you're rewarded so heavily for winning in this game, and you're really not penalized that much for losses. So what it really comes down to is just how much are you playing the game? Like, pretty much. As long as you're winning 60% of your matches, you know, maybe 65%, you're going to be ranking up. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're not dog shit. As long as, you know, once you get to kind of diamond, that grind gets a little tough. But think about it. So there's iron, bronze, silver, gold. So already there's 4 categories there. Most people, like, should at least be in gold. Iron, bronze, silver, gold, and then there's platinum, and then there's diamond, and then there's master. So, like, platinum, I feel, is like where average players sit. Diamond is where I think good players sit, and then master is like very good players, like pretty much. Like, that's kind of like a scale. But it's so easy to rank up in this game. It's hilarious, and it's not even fun, because when you play your preliminaries, if you just get like kinda lucky, you might even land in diamond. Like, if you win, I think it's 7 or 8 out of 10 matches, you only lose 2. You're pretty much in diamond. And then if you lose like 3, it's like you're in platinum, which is still, it's just, even if you do the worse, you win like 5 or 6, you're in high gold at least. And it's just, it's very simple, because when you started in Street Fighter 4 or 5, you were at nothing from the bottom, and everyone had to work their way through. And in this game, it just allows you to camp. If you want to do really good, sit at diamond, do nothing, you get there, or you earn it from the preliminaries, never use the character again, and you're sitting there. And it's like, ranked in this game is terrible. It's pretty freaking terrible, and it's just, I feel like everything's a handout in this game. Everything's a handout. Like, you're having trouble with the drive rush mechanic, guess what? Just tap 2 buttons now. Like, oh, you had trouble dealing with invincibility, projectile invincibility on supers, guess what? That's gone now. Or it's like, oh, you liked Ryu and you liked Kimberly from the beta, guess what? They're nerfed. And it's like, everything that they're doing is just helping people, casual players. And it's like, there's nothing here for the competitive player, really. Like, and I was playing sets today, and I swear to God, sometimes drive impact doesn't come out. Like, sometimes I get robbed in a drive rush freeze screen. It's not all the time, but sometimes I feel like inputs are just random. If I, like, so somebody was doing a drive rush on me today, and they were Juri, and I was playing JP, and I neutral jumped. I'm like, oh, I see this. I'm going to land as soon as he comes down, hits a button, counter hit him, you know, do crouching medium punch, do the quarter circle forward, medium punch move, whatever, just like end the round quickly, because he had like a little bit of health. And it just didn't do it, and he just stood there, and then I just took the hit, because I'm holding up, not back, or up back, because I'm trying to neutral jump. And then I just died. And I know I was like holding up. And it's like shit like this that happens in this game, or when I'm waking up off of the ground and I'm trying to do a wake up reversal, and I know my opponent is going to hit a button. Sometimes in this game that shit just doesn't come out, and it feels like sometimes the game says, not now. And I don't like that feeling. It just doesn't feel satisfying. And I really do think the best games, the best competitive games are behind us. You know, like the Street Fighter Alpha series, you know, like regardless of which one you preferred, those games in general were just really cool, really fun, had really fun stuff. I mean, it was stupid. You know, there's Cody Infinites and all this stuff. But all that stuff took skill to perform. And then Street Fighter 4, the FADC system, it was great. I mean, everybody bitches about it, but it was actually great because it presented depth in something we'd never seen before in Street Fighter that felt really cool. Like extending combos, you know, like Ryu FADC Ultra doing a confirm and being able to cancel special moves was like really cool. And like this game's not doing that anymore. It's like, yeah, we're gonna try like this game almost feels like it doesn't have its own new mechanic because drive impact is basically focus. That's focus attack. There's no more canceling special moves and extending combos from that, so you can't do that anymore. And it's just like it's restrictive. You know, at least like in Street Fighter 5 couldn't even do that. I feel like we're taking steps back from revolutionizing the games. So it's like we had one frame links in Street Fighter 4. There's no one frame links in Street Fighter 5. It's a step backwards from where we were going in terms of how the game should be played. This game should have cancelable special moves. Like be able to cancel that animation. And this game doesn't have that. Like, why don't we move with that? You know, why don't we make FADC worse or like do something with that, but get rid of focus attack or something like that. You know, I felt like that was revolutionizing the game, and now we're not. And then I look back on other fighting games, you know, Darkstalkers, you know, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 9, even Killer Instinct, Super Nintendo, Killer Instinct on the Xbox, which was actually a very fun, very good game. Guilty Gear, Skullgirls, all these games that came out are just so much better. Unial, even Melty Blood, Actress Again, all these games are just like, they feel, once I go back to them, because the Unial scene, I have Discord and I follow all these other games and stuff, and it's like, it's incredible and unbelievable to me how people think that Street Fighter 6 is like so good. And it's fine, it's okay, but I think people are really fooling themselves if they think Street Fighter 6 is like this truly awesome game and it has so much potential to it, because it really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. I mean, all the combos and everything. We're like a month or two into this game. We're not even 3 months into this game. And most of the characters are already pretty optimized right now. Pretty much everyone except Jury with Feng Shui engine thing, and maybe JP with his Super 2, are pretty optimized. Like, you know pretty much all the combos. You know pretty much all the optimal stuff you should be doing for your drive rushes. There's like some resets and things like that with like Ken after the drive rush. The drive impact, and he can reset and cross up with the Tatsu and things like that. And Guile has loops, but we've known these things for forever. Like, there's nothing really here. Maybe Sim, maybe Dalsim. But that's really kind of it. Like, the game's depth is it's honestly even on a lower ceiling cap than Street Fighter 5 was. Because if you look at Street Fighter 5, even though I didn't really like that game, Armika, even from the rip, had so much potential with all of her resets and like all of her traps and stuff like that. You know, you look at a character, I know it's later in the lifespan, but you look at Manat. You know, like, Manat was really cool, and that took time to explore her and kind of see what was going on with her. And same thing with Oro. You know, learning that super and seeing what that shit could do was cool. I think at least that posed some depth to it. And then there was the cancels or the taunt cancels or something with Dan. There is all sorts of different stuff that at least gave the game some flavor for tech. and made it feel like it at least was its own thing. Not saying it was a better game, because it wasn't, because it was just a mess and had no neutral at all, like ever. At least this game you can kind of have neutral, except when someone drive rushes. But I just don't feel like I feel like the best fighting games are behind us, and I don't feel like they're ever going to move away from making everything easier for everybody and lowering the difficulty of combos and just making everything more and more and more and more simplistic. And it's tiring, and there's no balance anymore. There's no, well, we're going to make this easier for people, and but we're going to add this in for those competitive people. And that's not the case anymore. Like, they don't care. They want to sell Rashid. They want to make, all the money from their DLC. I get it. And just make every other character have to learn to deal with this one problem character. And that's exactly what the game's going to turn into. Every season, they're going to make a very strong character. That character is going to shape up the meta. You're going to have to buy them. And then everybody's going to have to learn and deal with the bullshit until that character's nerfed. And they did that same thing with Street Fighter V with the Season 1 DLC. They put out Urien, he was super good. They put out Ibuki, he was super good. Balrog was really good the first time. Abigail was an incredible character. And then they started making a couple flop characters for a bit, like Ed and Falk. And they made Manat. Manat was really good. And it's just, like, it's very tiring. And they're not doing things anymore for the sake of the balance of the game. They're just doing it for money. Like, they don't care that they're putting out Rashid 2 weeks before Evo. And they don't care that they're changing a mechanic 2 weeks before Evo. That's why they're doing it. They want to make the money. They want to get everybody to buy the characters. And they don't care what happens at Evo. They want to make it as crazy and as whatever as possible to get the hype up for the game. They want to talk about the character, like, oh, you better be using this character, so everybody buys the character and plays the character. That's the whole point of their business. So the integrity of the game has gone down the toilet because they don't care about their game. It's just, they're just doing whatever to make money. So I really do think that the best of the fighting games are really behind us, and I don't think we'll ever see an era or ever see something like when we saw Street Fighter 4, when that really revived the community. It really brought everyone to really get back into things, and I feel like everybody's just kind of skating along playing Street Fighter 6, and it's a fine game, it's okay, but I think you'd be hard pressed, and I think you're kind of walling if you think this is like some super amazing competitive game. There's literally commands in the game and things in the game that restrict you from doing specific actions. That's fucking terrible. It doesn't matter what level you are, if you're a great player or if you're the worst player. That having your inputs and what you choose as an action to be restricted is fucking dog shit. Like, you can't argue against that. When you can't do something and you should be able to do it, that's bad. Like, if you do drive rush, you do crouching heavy punch, FADC, I'm sorry, not FADC, you do drive rush cancel, and then you continue to hit a button, and I read that you're going to do that, and you're going to hit a button, and I do an invincible reversal to stop those button presses, and I can't do that, that's bad design. If you should be able to do that mechanic, but that reversal being there should stop you from doing it consistently. Choosing when to do it, because if you're very smart about when you're going to do it, you're not going to wait for it and do that DP. Because you're like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. Shit, I got caught off guard. That's the whole point of a fighting game and the mechanics and the things, is playing the chess match with someone and being like, oh, I know you're going to do this, so I'm going to stop that. If I know that something's coming and I know the counter to that action, I should be able to do that. And in Street Fighter 6, sometimes it feels like that it's not the case. And you just eat shit, and you eat this input, and then you die. And then you're like, well, that's the round, because everyone has a simple high damage combo. And that's very bad game design.